So Harding, Steve Brown, oh, maybe he is, we'll see. Second row at the moment is Pete O'Connor, possibly Jay Elliott in kart number 2. Joe Holmes on grid 5. Behind him, Dan Truman in kart 12. And the racing driver's nervous tick of weaving to warm the tyres. It doesn't work! Goes on behind. So Harding, Brown on the outside. Who'll get the whole shot? I suspect it will be Harding. Can Brown hang on to second though? He goes side by side with Pete O'Connor. And I think Pete O'Connor will have the high ground of the inside. T looks to the inside of Williams, as Williams looks to the inside of Holmes. Through the second chicane, down to the hairpin. And it's Harding. O'Connor, oh, it's looking a bit frantic behind, but it's Brown in third from Elliott. Holmes takes a look over his shoulder at Brandon Williams. Darren Teal, Dan Truman, Tyler Mays, Ian Blake already picking up spots. Trying to go past Ed Bars in kart number 14. Palm Bean Ajar. James Hattersley, who showed so well in heat number 2, but ended up with pretty well nothing. I do apologise, the wind is dry. So, end of lap 1, your race leader is Jack Harding in kart number 8. He leads by 4.47 of a second from Pete O'Connor. Steve Brown. Elliott, Holmes, still looking over his shoulder at Brandon Williams. Through the horseshoe, on the back straight. Well, Jack Harding's not getting away. Steve Brown now is using the toe and is towing in behind. Indeed, Harding's probably hoping for Pete O'Connor to dive through and trip Steve Brown up a little. Although I think O'Connor's on the defensive, holding off Jay Elliott in kart number 2. And Brown is looking for a way by Jack Harding. Down the inside in the last corner. Job done. Is the crisscross on for Harding? I don't think it is. Mr. Smooth, Steve Brown leads in heat 3. O'Connor trying to close in behind. Looking for a good run out the second chicane for maybe a shot down at the hairpin. Not close enough. Has to follow for now. Looking for a mistake. Into the wind as they come back towards start-finish. It's Brown, Harding. Brown slipped away from the apex there, got back on it. And Joe Holmes has moved through to 4th place. The championship leader, while the reigning champion leads heat number 3. Does Brandon Williams want his spot back from Joe Holmes? Is he close enough? No, he's not. Now, who's going to make best use of the slipstream this time? Everybody takes a look over their shoulder. Now tries to time a perfect entry and exit from the horseshoe for a run down into the last corner. Nothing doing this time. It's looking fairly even. Everybody on the top of their game. Everybody is on the top of their game. Now, is it me? Has Brown just edged away a little? A few kart lengths on Jack Harding, although I suspect it's more like Jack Harding's made a slight mistake. And O'Connor's not in position to take advantage. I can't see this piece lasting for long. Holmes drifted away from the curb on his run through the horseshoe there, and that's what put him on the nose of Brandon Williams on the back straight. Just a slight mistake on line, and Joe Holmes is now on the nose of Brandon Williams and losing ground to Pete O'Connor, who might take this opportunity to have a shot at Jack Harding. Well, he's got a few kart lengths on Joe Holmes. Steve Brown now out to 0.6 of a second. Out in front. This time it's Darren Teal who can't hold the curb. And another lap goes in the books. We are 2 minutes 50 from the finish of heat number 3. And I'm hoping you can hear me all right. There's a battle developing behind. Ian Blake, Jay Elliott, Dan Truman, Ed Bars for the bottom of the top 10. And I'd say Parmveen Ajara is probably in 10th place as they come through to finish another lap. So Steve Brown now beginning to stretch his legs ahead of Jack Harding, Pete O'Connor, Joe Holmes now holding off Brandon Williams. I think that's fair to say. I suspect Brandon could go a little quicker, maybe. Darren Teal just hanging on in there in 6th place. Gap to Blake. Now a gap to Elliott. Truman, Bars. I think Bars is in 10th place. Yes, he is. It's Parmveen Ajara in 11th. Truman to the inside of Jay Elliott. Can he hold the spot though? The crisscross on for Jay? Not quite. Truman picks up a spot. We're on the penultimate lap of heat number 3. I suspect Elliott might want that spot back, Dan. Will he take it back at the hairpin? Not quite. James Hattersley, I think, has been off the road. He's currently running at the back of the field. This is looking in the bag then for Steve Brown. Battle is on for second though. Pete O'Connor now looking to the inside of Jack Harding. And he's through, and Brandon Williams has gone with him, and he's also overtaken Joe Holmes at the same time. Somewhere around that last lap. I thought he could go a little bit quicker, and he has. So the last lap board is out. The last chance to grab a position on the grid for the final. Steve Brown is going to win this one, barring a strange and rather cruel mechanical before the finish with half a lap to go. I think Pete O'Connor can hold Brandon Williams. Joe Holmes is picking off, or trying to, pick off Jack Harding. They're side by side. And Holmes is now forced to cover off Darren Teal into the last corner. And Pete O'Connor is going to hold off Brandon Williams. Jack Harding finishes in 4th place. Steve Brown won that one by 2 seconds from Pete O'Connor in the end, who managed to hold off Brandon Williams by just 0.2 of a second. Jack Harding, Joe Holmes, Darren Teal, Ian Blake, Daniel Truman, Jay Elliott and Ed Bars was the top 10.